British Prime Minister says Muslim terrorists are just kidding when they commit acts of terror in the name of Islam. It's not really in the name of Islam, by William Patterson for Guerrilla News. Theresa May claims Muslim terrorists do not really mean Allahu Akbar when they shout Allahu Akbar while carrying out an Islamic terrorist attack in the name of Islam, which, by the way, is not really in the name of Islam, according to the British Prime Minister. She says the problem is the far right, not radical Islam, because Islamic terrorism does not exist. She says Islamic terrorism is not Islamic and has nothing to do with Islam. Please write in the comments below, what do you think about this madness? Radical Muslim terrorists are all over the world carrying out terror attacks in the name of Allah. They justify their violence by quoting verses from the Quran. Politicians in the West always claim Islam is a religion of peace, despite the fact that some Muslims, and even former Muslims such as Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Sandra Solomon, claim that there are verses in the Quran and the Islamic scriptures that call for violence against infidels, that often what leads to the violence and terrorism carried out against infidels by Muslims. Christians and other non-Muslim minorities throughout the Muslim world are being persecuted for being non-Muslims. The Christian community in Iraq and Syria were completely annihilated by radical Muslims. Anyone who could not escape and refused to convert to Islam was executed. The Western world ignores the cruel persecutions of Christians in the Muslim world. Where are all the human rights organizations of the UN? Where are all the human rights organizations in the West? Please pray for the Christian minorities in the Muslim world. Liberals and leftists in the West use the made-up term Islamophobia to portray anyone who criticizes Islam as a racist. They ignore the fact that Islam is an ideology that has nothing to do with race. There is an attempt in the West to impose a Sharia blasphemy law to criminalize criticism of Islam, which is also taking place, I might add, in England. And Marco Rubio wanted to pass this law also in the States. It started when Saudi Arabia and the Muslim countries tried to pass a UN resolution to force Western states to criminalize criticism of Islam. The Parliament in Canada passed Motion M103 to condemn the so-called Islamophobia, fear of Islam, in a preparation for a blasphemy law in Canada. According to the Sharia blasphemy law, anyone who criticizes Islam or the Prophet Muhammad should be killed. That's true. Under Sharia blasphemy law in Saudi Arabia and Iran, Muslims are executed if they are accused of blasphemy. In Pakistan, the situation is even worse. Radical Muslims use the blasphemy law to persecute the Christian minority. Is this the law that liberals in the West want to adopt? If you think Sharia blasphemy law has no place in the West, please share this post. Listen to what Theresa May, and I hope it's not copyrighted, but listen to what she just said.
Britain First is a hateful organisation.
Britain First is a terrific organization. She's a psychopath. Britain First, just take a look at their website, Britain First. They're amazing. They are trying to fight against what's taking place in their country, desperately trying to expose the truth of what's taking place in England. And these are the leaders of England. They should be shot. That's what I think.
It seeks to spread division and mistrust among our communities.
Really?
It stands in fundamental opposition to the values that we share as a nation, values of respect, tolerance, and, dare I say, just common British decency. On the issue of radical Islam, British Muslims are peaceful and law-abiding people who have themselves been the subject of acts and the victims of acts of terror by the far right.
Really? Can you state what acts of terror the far right have committed to the to people from Islam? I doubt. We don't have any news stories about that, do we, folks? Do we, folks?
There are those who conduct acts of terror in the name of Islam, but it is not in the name of Islam. And as Prime Minister, I am very clear about the priority that I give to dealing with the challenge of the threat of terrorism, and that's the dealing with the threat of terrorism and extremism from whatever source they come.
Really?
And indeed, that question of how we deal with terrorism is one of the issues that I have been discussing over the last couple of days here in the Middle East, and I was very pleased yesterday, particularly in Iraq, to see the work that we are doing with allies and with the United States in particular to counter the threat of terrorism.
Are you kidding me? I don't know if this is copyrighted, but if it is, I'm going to have to redo it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.